I'm making myself a raised garden bed. So the process in which I'm taking for this one, whoops, I almost just fell over. I've got all these old stair treads and I'm just digging a bit of a groove in the ground to lay them in. I'll continue these through here. Then cardboard's going down. Got a big bin of seaweed here I collected from the beach, and I'm scattering a heap of eggshells in amongst it. So I'll continue that along, and then the next layer to go over top is mulch. I'll put maybe 100 ml of mulch on there, and then finally I'll fill the rest up with hay and just let it sit for a few months, and then I'll eventually plant it out. I'm thinking some climbers up the back, that's why I put the trellises up there. Maybe some beans and passion fruit, and just some random stuff up the front. So all my gardens are very newly established. I've got one here, it's quite a big one, lots of little things popping up. Took me 2 weekends of digging in here to get rid of all the rocks, and as you can see around the outside I've built them up into a bit of a wall, mainly just to get rid of them. A few things going on, I'm not sure what that is. The wife likes to eat the leaves. Some different root herbs, little fig tree, some sort of spinach. Got my pawpaws in. Heap little pumpkins sprouting. Got some pumpkins and rock melons and a few watermelons put in. I'm in the tropics, so I get the luxury of planting all tropical species here. Got a few sad little peas up the side, and little cassava popping. Another cassava. Cassavas and pawpaws. I know that one's turmeric. A few marigolds popping up in amongst it. Little corns and kale, and if you look really closely there's some sick little okras in here. They're really young, hopefully they'll do something. I think they should. Got some little passion fruit planted up the edge here. Got 1, 2, 3. So I'll take you around here. A little tomato down there. Where is he? Little tomato and whatever they are, maybe kale. Basically I just dug up all the dirt, all the rocks, and then I just got handfuls of seeds and I just scattered them everywhere. Down along here is an area that I've been putting all my weeds. Just preparing the soil, getting it ready to one day grow some passion fruits up here. Got some passion fruits getting started in my mate's hydroponic room. They're going really good. There's a heap of weeds up here now, but I planted this whole edge up with lemongrass. Starting to pop through now. Got like stuff like corn scattered in amongst it. Corn and some sweet potato. Lemongrass the whole way. Got sunflowers, little passion fruit, more sunflowers and lemongrass everywhere. Another passion fruit at the back there. Got some sunflowers popping up with my marigolds. If I look really closely, I think there's some maybe watermelon or something coming through. Marigolds and lemongrass. And I go through here, bit of a ditch, just to give you guys a bit of an idea. sort of where we've just come through. And now here's my sort of my garden that I established a little bit before the other ones. They're starting to really take shape now. I like to use a polyculture type of a gardening system. I just scatter that many edible plants through here that hopefully one day they'll thicken up to a point where there'll be no room for weeds to come through. Yeah, what have I got growing on? I got some okras. I've got a coriander ground cover coming up everywhere. Some more cassava, little tomatoes. Got some corns. Got lots of basils coming through, all different sorts of basils. Some mimosa trees. Lemongrass up the back. There's heaps of stuff really. It's hard to see. A little parsley going through. I actually strung up all these wires this morning. Not wires, I should call them cords. So I got a few creepers going. I'm gonna plant a heap more creepers, like some beans and cucumbers and probably some more passion fruit. And with all the trellising and cordage I've got going everywhere, it should create quite a nice little jungle sort of a look. I didn't want to put too many to the point that it'll completely block out the sun, but just enough to provide a little bit of shade and give my climbers the structure that they need to do their thing on. I blocked sort of this fence off completely this morning with this rail just because the dogs were getting in here and they're never any good. Got more lines of lemongrass. They're going right around and around the corner. Got some pineapples. More pineapples with some more coriander and cactus. Basil, different sort of basil. Marigolds. Got my wood rose. Got this cool little paper wasp nest. I'm going to move them because I've got kids running around. I'm thinking just sort of down in the bush down there. But I've got a bit of a theory that they're beneficial for my garden, so I want them pretty close. More little basils and spinach type things in amongst all the weeds. Just got a mix of everything really. Pineapple, pawpaw, lemongrass, marigold, green beans. I grew a massive purple yam up here. You can see the remnants now. The potato, like the yam that I got off of it, was huge. It was about as big as my torso. I reckon it weighed 5 kilos. Got my snake beans going up here. Got some bananas, little trio of bananas. This one's my sort of first established garden bed that I've got going. As you can see, that's a lot thicker. Sort of goes 1 down there, 2 around there where we came from, 3. Just letting this one go to seed so I can plant some more. Plus I've got a mighty big wing bean here that I'm letting go to seed so I can get some more. There's passion fruit going up that trellis with a few other sorts of beans and stuff. Stuff like radishes down in there and a few different things. Tomatoes growing. Got some comfrey. Sweet potatoes everywhere. Little dragon fruit popping up. More comfrey in the back. Here's a little tomato that's starting to fruit. Then here's all my beloved fruit trees. So got them all potted up. I've got, I think, over 40 varieties. I've got some little lychees down here. I don't know the name of a lot of these, I've forgotten them. This one's like a wampy, I think. This is part of the jackfruit family. Acacia confucia, for those who know what that is. Mimosa hostilis, for those who know what that is. This might be a jackfruit. That's a kumquat. Can't remember what he is. That one's Mammy sapote. Jackfruit. A lot of these are all lychees down here. Lychee. Coffee. Can't quite remember. This one's a durian that was doing not too good, but seems to be sprouting again. My Panama berry, I love him. And Boticaba, can't wait for him to come. Pretty sure this is my peanut butter bush. He's out of trim. Can't remember what this is. This one here is the Australian finger lime. Looking forward to trying him. I've got some coconuts and a whole heap of stuff back here, all really close to each other. Coffee, some sort of citrus. Got olive back there and a heap of things. I can't even remember what most of them are, guys. Every time I'd see a new variety of fruit tree, I'd buy it. And one day I'm going to have myself a food forest out of all these guys. All lychees down here. Got some durians, and I think that's a wampy, Cape gooseberry, Boticaba, elderberry, more durians. Psychotria viridis, for those who know. Banisterius capi, for those who know. Got pomegranate, curry leaf, dill, fucking lots of herbs. Sorry, excuse my language, guys. Durian. Oh no, not durian. Star apple, I think. Can't remember what a lot of these guys are. That one is, where are we? White sapote. Then I've got all my carnivorous plants. They're looking pretty sick because I haven't been in this property long and they sort of got neglected a little bit. I've since sort of shifted them and they're bouncing back. In here I got little Venus flytraps, Sarracenias, sundews. I've got some Mexican butterworts down in there. Moss growing everywhere. I love these guys. A few little bogs. These are sort of a work in progress. I'm going to eventually turn these into really big bog gardens. Got all different sorts of Sarracenias. Different varieties of Venus flytraps. Different sorts of setups, just experimenting. Across here I've got my miracleberry. I think that's a jackfruit. Can't remember what he is, can't remember what he is. Can't remember what that is. I call it stink plant because it stinks. My wife eats that. And then sort of we're back to where we started. Here I've got the bee stand. They're all active hives. Some are stronger than others. All at different levels of strength, I suppose you'd say, different ages. We've got all bees there, bees everywhere. This one here is not was a nucleus hive that I've recently made. They're starting to do their thing, looking all strong. Let's see if I can get some good shots. So they'll be ready to transfer into a big hive soon. We've been getting lots of honey off these guys. Yeah, more hives. So yeah, here's my garden bed that I was just making. And then, what else have I got? Can't quite remember the name of him. I know what he looks like and tastes like. That one's ylang ylang. Supposedly smells beautiful when it flowers. Durian. This one here is some sort of Papua New Guinean plum. Can't quite remember the name. Some little peas and chilies and Thai coriander. These are sort of my shaded varieties. Got some cacao, some cocoa, however you say it. All new leaves coming out. It got sunburnt when I moved it here, and it's sort of only just bouncing back now. I think that one's your ice cream bean. Brugsmasia. Can't remember. I think not sure the name of that one. I've got some. I took some kaffir lime marcottes actually, and I think this one in particular is surviving. Normally I'm not too bad with marcotting things, but that kaffir lime I'm seeming to have a bit of trouble with. So basically through here I've got my shaded area, sort of just establishing this area now. I've got some katuk or sweet leaf, some pandan or pandanus, I'm not sure how you call it, it's the edible one. My wife cooks with it. There's some bananas and pawpaws and trying some strawberries. I don't know if you can see the strawberries. I've got pumpkin planted out and popping up everywhere. More cassavas. There's a few of the strawberries. And then, I suppose, as far as the plants go, almost finally, I've got sort of my arid plants, cactuses, succulents, frangipanis, desert roses. Got some more carnivorous plants up here. All my nepenthes. These were once glorious big things, but they sort of got neglected when I moved in here, so they're just sort of starting to bounce back now. Got some air plants hanging out of them. See if I can get the right light. More big nepenthes, some orchids. If you guys can't tell, I love my carnivorous plants. Yeah, these things, they were glorious. They'll get back there again. They were all babies when I got them, so I've babied them up. Some of my cactuses are really cool. Maybe the light's not the best. Maybe my phone's not the best to capture them, but got all different sorts. More nepenthes all along here. It's all just nepenthes. Got all different varieties. Little ones, Australian natives, bigger squat ones. Ones that died off, little red ones. I'm pretty sure that's a Australian native. Little squat red. Got a little corner of orchids, different sorts, dendrobiums, phalaenopsis, cymbidiums, plus more I can't even remember or pronounce right. Orchids, 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 orchids. Back to a few more nepenthes. And yeah, that's my little homestead. I've only been living here about 2 months or 3 months. And my best friend just built this house. I'm still sort of finishing it off and putting everything where it should be. Got the kids and the wife. So yeah, that's my newly established gardens and grounds. I'll do some updates in the coming months as it starts to really do its thing and come into its own. Alright guys, catch you later.